Tori Cruz. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Please put your comments below, and you can also find me on social media at Miss Tori Cruz. Hey ladies, welcome to another Crownversation series. I'm super stoked about today's guest. We have Alexis Lete, Miss Indiana USA 2020. Woo! I just told her, I was like, Indiana is kind of my second home state, kind of third. My mom's from Indiana, so I'm super excited to talk to her today. Alexis is actually a D1 athlete. She played volleyball at George Washington University. Like I said, Miss Indiana USA 2020, placed top 3 at Miss USA. A boss lady right there. And also she's a broadcast journalism major. She is a podcast host, all the things. So welcome, Alexis. I am super excited that you're here today. Oh gosh, we froze. Hold on, we froze.
Oh my gosh, okay. I was like,
we're back.
There you go. Okay, I was like, oh no. I was like, I don't know what she's saying.
I was just doing a little bit of a bio. I don't know when I froze, but just told him your whole shebang of third runner-up Miss Indiana and also podcast host, all the things, D1 athlete. So just wanted to welcome you and excited to have you on today.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to get talking with you.
Yeah. So, all right, let's just dive into it. Third runner-up Miss USA, because let's be real, that's what everybody's wanting to know, right? They're like, how did Miss Indiana get third runner-up? She's a baller, volleyball player, no pun intended. But seriously, that's awesome. Like, that's a huge achievement. And during a year of so much craziness and chaos, like, there's a ton of girls who listen to this. This goes on my podcast and YouTube channel, but that desire to be a top runner in Miss USA. And I just want to know, like, broad statement, broad question, but how'd you get there?
I went in with an athlete mindset. You know, I was telling you a little bit before the podcast that I've been an athlete my whole life. I went and I played Division I volleyball. After that, I went over and played I went overseas, there we go, and played volleyball for a little bit. So I have just grown up being a competitive person and, you know, looking at the game, dissecting it, understanding what I need to be doing to get the job done. And I kind of went at Miss USA the same way. I'm looking at the people who've won in the past. I'm looking at Miss Universes that have won in the past. What are they doing and how are they getting it done to succeed? So I kind of like broke it down into easy formulas to focus on and just really prepare myself in that way, you know, walking, posing, my aura, the way I wanted to elude myself. I wanted to be confident, fun, approachable, but sexy at the same time. And with the interview room, I kind of just really stayed authentic. I know people talk about being authentic. It's so important nowadays. And so I just kind of, you know, was professional, but also let loose and let them see my real side, because everyone always says you don't want to win the title being somebody else. You want to win the title being yourself. So, I mean, I was joking with them. I was like flexing and like, yeah, I worked out really hard, just doing all this stuff. So for anybody preparing, I would say, you know, look at what past winners have done and kind of study them, and then find a coach that really loves and appreciates you and will work with you. And hey, you. And she's like, hey, I'm right here. And then just like put in the hours. It's a lot of work, but it does pay off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely. And I totally agree. And we joke but like whether it's me or somebody else as a coach or mentor, I think, you know, with anything that you want to achieve big in life, you need somebody who is mentoring you, and not only YouTube channels. I mean, it's awesome if you're watching this podcast or YouTube video, but like this only goes so far, right? And like you can listen to podcasts all day, every day, but you still need that like one-on-one contact with somebody. And I'm sure you experienced that even more so when it came to sports. But but I want to stick with pageants for a little bit longer. So did your pageant journey start at a younger age, or when did that start for you?
It didn't really start at a younger age. When I was a senior in high school, I told my mom about my dreams of being a model and pretty much doing what I'm doing now, which is just unreal to think about. But it was very taboo at the time, especially from Indiana. You know, like no one's really a model. No one really does social media. No one really acts like I was honestly made fun of for my dreams. And my mom is like, you want to be a model? Here's this ad in the newspaper for the local Miss Harvest homecoming pageant. Why don't you enter that? And I'm like, Mom, no. And she's like, I thought you wanted to be a model though. I thought you wanted this. And I'm like, oh, so she like guilt shamed me into going and competing for this, what was it? It was like not a carnival, but it was like a local event where they have like food vendors and stuff. And I went and competed in there. I think I got second runner up. So I got third in that. And it was just really fun. I, didn't go in with any expectations at all. I didn't really know what the heck was going on. And it was fun to just experiment and figure it out along the way. And then it wasn't until, I guess, 2019 where I was kind of like called. I felt like called by God. I don't know if you're spiritual, but I just kept getting a bunch of signs to compete for Miss Indiana USA. And I hit up the woman who kind of helped me prepare for my local pageant back when I was a senior in high school. And I was like, hey, Rami, I'm getting these weird signs to compete for Miss Indiana. She's like, oh my gosh, I was going to message you and tell you that you should. I was like, what the heck? So I just started training for it, like full force. I think I entered the pageant like 3 weeks before, 2.5, something. Oh, yeah, insane. And so I was like on the phone with her every day, training, practicing my walk at a gym. Like people were working out and I'm like literally in a bikini, like, and wearing a ball gown also while people are working out. And it was just hilarious because people would either come up and talk to me or just oddly look at me like, who is this chick? But you got to do what you got to do to get it done,
Oh man, I totally feel that. I did that one time. I ended up going to a dance studio instead because it was so awkward. So good for you for sticking with it, because it was literally this glass room with a wood floor. And I was like, this would be perfect for practicing my runway. And literally everybody in the gym is staring. They're totally right there. So that's hilarious that you mentioned that. I totally forgot that I did that too. And it's like the things that pageant girls actually end up actually do behind the scenes that nobody knows is like the craziest and most fun and interesting part of the whole thing. So
very much so. But it also helped me because I was like, this is very uncomfortable. I feel awkward. And I was like, but I'm also going to be on a stage with a bunch of people I don't know, and they're going to be looking at me in a bathing suit. And I was like, so this is kind of the same thing. Like, I just got to put it all out there and build my confidence, because you best believe when I first went there and was walking in heels, I was like, oh my gosh, do I look weird? What's going on? And then by the end of it, I was like, I'm about to be the next Miss Indiana USA. That's right. Y'all look at me because I look good right now. So it's just, you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations to then build the confidence to be comfortable.
Oh, that's so good. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations to build the confidence to be comfortable. That's awesome right there. Love that. So you won the first time you competed at Miss Indiana.
Yes.
Let me get that right. The first time. Do you know it took me 6 years? 6 times competing before I won?
Everyone's journey and everyone's time is so different though. Like I'm one of those people that everything happens for a reason. God calls on people at different times. And, I'm sure you learned a lot of lessons through those 6 years and bettered yourself along the way and needed those lessons,
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it was 8 years of training, right? And I competed 6 times. So, and that's why I coach mindset and confidence now with pageant girls because of that. So it's like, you're totally right. Like God calls you at different times of your life for different things. And I love how you heard God's calling, you acted upon it, you did it, you won. It was just like total confirmation that was God telling you to go after this.
Dude, it was crazy. I felt like when I was at the competition, I felt like the Holy Spirit came over me. It was a very spiritual journey. To say that I won it on my own would be discrediting the process and the true calling, because I don't think that if I just went to compete, I would have won. I really felt like God called me for a greater purpose and led me to the time of, the COVID queen, where you have to rule social media. You have to be this personality on the internet, which is exactly what I am. And I felt like exactly the right time for what I was called for.
Yeah. And you showed up and you did it. And then you went to Miss USA and you placed third runner up. So that is just, it's awesome. So tell me about your Miss USA experience.
So I don't know what it was like in the past. I mean, just by looking at videos and talking with girls, it was completely different than this year. And we weren't able to go to restaurants or really visit the city very much. I think we were able to go to Graceland, and then why am I blanking? It's the hotel where Martin Luther King was shot. And so those were the only two places that we were able to go to, which they were really fun when we went. It's so much fun to just be with a group of powerful women who also love taking pictures and posting on social media. It's like, a girls group. It was like a beautified camp almost. And so I was having a ball. Yeah. But it was different because, we had all the COVID restrictions. We had to get COVID tested every, I think, 2 or 3 days. We only were in pods, so we could only hang out with 12 of the girls. So, I didn't get to meet the rest of the girls. I didn't even talk to Miss Mississippi who won. So people were like, oh my gosh, how is she? And I was like, I did not speak a word to her. Yeah. And so that was the sad part about it. But I mean, they did the best they could during a global pandemic. I mean, there were tons of eyes on them, and pageantry, people are so quick to ridicule the process or people doing it. So they had to be very on point with everything to make sure that we were safe, the staff was safe, and there was no outbreaks at all.
Yeah, that's what throughout these Crownversations that I've done with other, title holders this year, they said the same thing with the pods. It was just, you didn't get to have that connection with the other girls, which is super unfortunate, but hopefully you ladies can reunite and go like on a vacation together and start to get to know each other, and almost have like just a big get together with all of you, because that is the coolest thing about Miss USA. And, you still went to Miss USA. And what I keep telling all of you is like, it says something about your character and your determination to be able to do what you did during a global pandemic. Some people could have crumbled. Some people could have had fear and not have gone. And you guys persevered. And being a part of the Miss USA 2020 class is something to be proud of, because of what you guys, what you've faced and what you've dealt with this year.
Yeah, definitely a historic year.
It is. It's going down in history. That's for sure. So as far as we talked about Miss USA pageantry and how you really transferred that athlete mindset, tell us about your athletic journey, then competing at a D1 school. Tell us about that. Tell us about your mindset and experience there. Yeah,
well, being an athlete, it really tests you in a lot of ways. You really discover yourself, kind of like how you discover yourself in pageantry. You figure out what kind of person you want to be, what kind of platform you want to have, what your message is going to be. And as an athlete, you figure out your weaknesses, you figure out your strengths, you figure out how to combat your weaknesses, you figure out how to talk and communicate with people, you figure out how to be a great leader. And when I was growing up, I was not the best volleyball player. I'm a D out there. I was like the 5th grader on the 4th grade team. And I just started growing and growing. I'm 6 foot tall. And it wasn't until 7th grade, someone pulled me aside and they're like, Letty, you're going to go and get a Division I volleyball scholarship and get college paid for free. And I was like, what? And they're like, yes, you just need work. And whoever's listening to this, you might not be the best pageant girl right now. You just need work. Everyone needs work to be the best or to get better at something. And so I was this lanky, 13-year-old girl who was not very confident on the volleyball court. And I just had somebody start training with me and working with me. And I remember I went to go try out for my first travel club team when I was 14. And my brother was like, why are you even trying out? You're not going to make it. Like, this is a joke. And I was like, no, I think I can do it. And I went to the tryout and I had the best tryout of my life. like my skill level was here. I was performing up here and it was just like, whoa. And I was just cheering everybody on, just being the loud, outgoing, optimistic person I am. And they started cheering me on. So the coaches were looking and they're like, who is this girl we've never seen before? So I had the best tryout of my life. I made the ones team. And then we went to practice the first day and I went back to my skill level. And the coach was like, oh, we're going to need to work with you some. So then, I got more private lessons and I got worked on. And then by the time I was 16, I was the captain of my team. And it took people just investing in me and sewing in me and me working hard. I would go to practice before school. School would start at 7:30. I would wake up at 5:30, head to the gym, work out. It's not an easy process. And I've had so many people tell me that I'm lucky for getting a scholarship or I'm lucky for winning Miss Indiana USA. No, you don't get lucky. you get good, you get better, and you get what you deserve.
Yes. Preach. Amen to that. You have to put in the work. And oftentimes that's the work that a lot of people don't see. And then they see you on the stage. They see you, playing volleyball at the D1 school, but what they don't see are those 5:30 a.m. workouts, and they grind every single day to do something. So with your skill level being right here, for instance, and you probably didn't fully believe in that person who was telling you that you were going to, get a scholarship at college, go be an athlete. Like, you probably didn't fully believe that, right?
Yeah, I was like, me? Like, like I said, like, honestly, this is like the best image, like a little lanky, Gumby looking girl. Like, one of my coaches used to call me Gumby because I was so skinny and just lanky and a little bit uncoordinated. But like I said, you just have to work on it and you have to get better. And I started getting better when I was 16. I told you I became captain. I started getting letters from schools. I started getting recruited. I started, writing down what I wanted in a school. And so I was able to pick, which school I wanted to. It wasn't just like, oh, this is the only person that gave me an offer. I worked hard so that I could have options and I could go to my dream school. I'd always wanted to move to a big city, being from small town, Southern Indiana. I was really into art when I was in high school, and I would, make ceramic pieces all around cities because I always had dreams of going to a big city. I wanted to get out. I wanted to learn more. And my college I went to was in Washington, D.C., the freaking one of the biggest cities, like a huge capital of our country where everything happens. And so it was like a dream come true when I got to go to that college.
Yeah, that's super cool. And you learn a lot about yourself too when you branch off and you go away from home, number one. And then number two, going to a big city, exploring someplace that is so far outside your comfort zone.
Yes.
That probably speak a little bit on that note.
Yeah. Well, being from Southern Indiana, we'll just start here. There's not a lot of diversity, or there's now, but there wasn't, 7-8 years ago, there was not. And so going to DC and seeing all these different people of different backgrounds from different places from all around the world, from different ethnicities, from different, genders or what they want to be classified as. Like, I never grew up around gay people.
Yeah.
I went to DC. One of my best friends now is actually, I'm in his wedding. I'm a bridesmaid, and he's gay. And I just was so not aware of that community. And I learned so much about them. And I learned so much. I joined an Asian fusion dance team when I was in college. Like, I was just learning about all these different cultures. And it was really beautiful to see everybody live a happy life, but live a happy life so differently than what I was used to. And it made me realize that we all have different backgrounds and different upbringings, but that's what makes our country so beautiful. Not everybody comes from the same place. Not everybody is the same. Not everybody has the same experiences. And it allows you to have deep conversations of, how did you end up the way you are? Oh, how do you do this? Oh, how do you celebrate this holiday with your family? And it's just so fun to have your eyes open to everything else out there besides, what just goes on in small town Southern Indiana.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of have your blinders on. I mean, that was the same thing with small town Iowa, where I grew up. There was zero diversity almost.
Right.
And we had one African-American kid in our whole school. Like, it was craziness. And then when you get out into what the world actually is and explore, it's just, if somebody's listening right now and you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I really want to explore, or I'm really scared to move to a new city, do it. Like, there is no way that you're going to regret going and living in a new city, venturing out for a little bit, going to explore, go traveling, whatever it is. There's so much culture to be known and experience. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I love that you had that experience. And, it also goes to show why you're at the Miss USA stage too. And hopefully you can get to know more of those girls, because even though Miss USA girls and pageant girls can be so similar, especially when you get to the national level, there's still so many differences that are so beautiful and so amazing that bring you all together. So which kind of leads me to your podcast, because I'm curious on what your podcast is, what your mission is with that, and explain to the girls, because they got to go subscribe, obviously. It's called Empower, right?
Yes. Yes. Empower, yeah. So I was wanting to do it before the lockdown, but I was just honestly running around like a chicken with my head cut off once I became Miss Indiana USA, because they kind of gave me the crown and sash and they're like, do whatever you want with it. And I was like, well, I'm going to use this. Like, we're going to make it happen. Okay. So you know, making stuff happen. I went to 66 appearances from the end of November to the beginning of March, which is a lot. It's like, you know, 30 something a month, 31 a month. And yeah, it's a lot. Like, I was going to 3 a day some days. It was exhausting, but it was worth it too. And so I finally had downtime with the pandemic, and I was like, you know what? I want to start this. You know, I'm definitely not ready to start this. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know who I'm going to have on there, but I know that I'm really passionate about empowering women. And I'm really passionate about having people know that they can do anything they set their mind to, despite what other people around them say or think about them. And so Empower stands for like empowering people to be themselves or do what they want to do, but also putting yourself in the position to be in power of your life and be in power of what happens to you, and you don't let anything else hold that power. So that's a little bit about my podcast. And I just like sharing stories or interviewing women with inspiring stories. I've had women that are, you know, the first bald woman to be in Sports Illustrated on there, or I've had a girl who is a model and she's training to be an astronaut, you know, astrophysicist Barbie, and she's like this beautiful woman who's also super into astrophysicists, which is like rocket science, honestly. And it's crazy to think of because, you know, she's so stereotyped because of the way she looks. And in pageantry, we're so stereotyped because of, you know, Honey Boo Boo Child and all those shows that don't show the true side of what pageantry is.
Yeah, definitely. I love what you're doing there. That's amazing. And take control of your own destiny too. And it sounds like that's exactly what you're doing and encouraging other girls to do as well. So I want to ask you, I read when I was kind of doing a little research here, I saw something about your motto is break the mold. Can you explain to us what break the mold means to you?
Yeah, I talked a lot about this a little bit at the beginning. Growing up in Southern Indiana, I was at a baccalaureate dinner for school, which is, you know, I think the top 10 percentile of your class or something like that. And everyone was being called for what they wanted to be when they grew up. You know, people were doctors, physicists, lawyers. And I got up, and this is genuinely what I wanted to be. Now, it was Victoria's Secret angel. Everyone laughed. And I was just mortified because I was like, wait, that's what I really want to be. I'm intelligent, yes, but I want to be a model as well. I want to walk the Victoria's Secret runway and, you know, do this stuff. And if they had it, I would still want to walk the Victoria's Secret runway. And yeah. And I just was so many people where I grew up telling me, no, you can't do that. Or, oh no, you have to do this. Oh, you have to find a 9-to-5. You know, I majored in communications, broadcast journalism, and my mom was really keen on me just living at home and being a local news station girl. And I've had bigger dreams than that. I want to be a game show host. I want to be an actress in films, and I want to, you know, be in entertainment. And everyone was kind of like, that's not safe. Like, how are you going to make money? You need to choose the safe route. You need to just do this. And I'm like, no, like, that's not me. That's not what I want to do. And I just need to do my own thing. And when I became Miss Indiana USA, I didn't really have my platform decided yet. I just knew I was passionate about women. And I had so many people telling me, you should do this, you should do that, you should wear your outfit like this, you should put your hair like this, just telling me everything to do and be. And it was overwhelming. I felt imposter syndrome. I didn't feel like I could be myself. I told you before this, I prefer to go by Lete, and I was going by Alexis. Like, I was never not going by Lete anymore. I just didn't feel like myself. And my friend called me up and was like, Lete, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. I'm not happy. I don't feel like myself. I'm trying my best to be a great role model for people out there. And they're like, no, this is not you. You need to push all this that everyone else is saying away and be yourself. He's like, you've never gone by the rules. You've never fit in. You've never tried to fit inside a mold because you're not meant to. And I was like, you are so right. I was like, break the mold. Break the mold. I was like,
onto something.
I was like, this is gonna be what I do. And then I started posting what I wanted to do. I started doing exactly what I wanted to do. I started doing funny things. I started dressing in my volleyball uniform. I started dressing in my pageant wear. I started mixing the two together and showing people that you don't have to fit a specific mold. You can do both. You can be anything you want to be, and you can break the mold, because stuff never changes or evolves if that one person doesn't step out and start breaking the mold and being who they want to be. We have our first vice president that's a female. She broke the mold.
Yeah.
And there's so much of that, and we need more of it. And so, I made that hashtag for my younger self, one, and also my current self, to remind myself that I don't have to fit into anywhere to be successful. I can still be me and make it happen.
Fire. That's just like, we could stop there and be good to go. So you said you're doing it for your younger self and your current self. I was listening to Ed Milet's podcast this morning when I was working out, and his guest on there was saying that what they're doing right now is also for themselves in 2030. And I totally see that, like, in you with Break the Mold. You're not doing this just for even now. I mean, you're doing this for, 9 years, 10 years down the road, when you're going to be making this massive impact in other women's lives and men too. Like, you're encouraging people that, hey, you do whatever you want. And I think it's something that a lot of pageant girls struggle with. And I hope they play that last like 5-10 minutes on repeat, because that was just straight money, like fire right there that you just said, because it's so true. Like, that imposter syndrome is so real in so many people, even if you're not doing pageants. And, personally, I've struggled with it too. And it's struggling with, what can I do? Like, is this too audacious? Like, is this dream too big? And you start doubting yourself, and you become so fearful of, like, well, I don't know if I can go to LA and be a model, or I don't know if I can go be a sports reporter and, report on the Super Bowl and do all these massive things, because you're number one, people say, like, oh, how are you going to make a living? Just like you said. And I think it happens so much. And it gets me going too, like, in the entertainment industry with acting and modeling. It's a freaking grind. I was in LA for about a year doing modeling. It's a grind. Yes. But if that's your dream, freaking do it. You can do it. And you can do anything that you set your mind to. And so, I want to encourage you, number one, first and foremost, you can do it. And I know you don't need to hear me say it, but you can do anything that you set your mind to. And you've proved yourself time and time again, not only with sports, but also, Miss USA, and then getting over those psychological bumps in the road, and coming out on top like you have. So I think you're on the road to massive, massive success and impact. And I can't wait to cheer you on along the way, girl.
Oh man, thank you. That means so much. That's so kind.
You got it. So, all right. So you said acting, and you said game show host. So what is your, after Miss USA, there's so much hype. Like, you just achieved this really, really massive goal, right? And sometimes once you're on the mountaintop, you come down in the valley a little bit. But then you always climb back up. There's that roll time though. And it's like, dang it. All right. There is. What do I have to go after now? And as a achiever, it's tough sometimes to be in that valley and think to yourself, like, hey, it's cool to relax for a little bit, but how do we get back up to that mountaintop? Because that's where you strive. That's where you thrive, and you're at your best. Yeah. So where's that journey for you right now to climb back up to that mountaintop?
Oh, girl, we are climbing right now. Let me tell you. Let's go. I was definitely in the lull after Miss USA. I had gone in and prepared to win. Like I told you, the athlete mindset. It's there's no second in an athlete mindset. It's just,
you're not first, you're last.
Yeah. So true. I love that.
I have the winner's circle, the winner's game plan. Like, if you're not first, you're last. Like, that's where my mind always is, girl. So I'm with you.
Yeah, I feel, like I had my apartment packed up when I went to Miss USA. Like, I was fully planning to head to New York. Yeah. And so coming back and unpacking the boxes and stuff, it was kind of like, what's next? I don't have anything. I gave up everything to be Miss USA. Everything. I stopped working. I just committed time to the gym. I committed time to reading the news. I committed time to practicing my walk. I committed time to figuring out content that's going to be the most inspiring and empowering for people. How am I going to reach an audience? How am I going to educate people about what Miss USA is? Because a lot of my audience is from volleyball. A lot of them are from my modeling world. And so they don't really understand the pageant industry. And so many people were like, wait, pageants are actually cool. Like, you make it seem awesome. And I'm like, this is my goal. Like, yes. But at the same time, like, financially, I was struggling. Like, everything was just poured into this. And what?
It's an expensive dream. And I will never say that it's not an expensive dream.
Yes, girlfriend. Yes. But you do prosper after you. And that's with everything, especially with the modeling and the acting. You're poor. You're happy though. You're chasing your dreams. You feel fulfilled. You feel like you're having a purpose, and you go through the struggle to empower others to follow you later on, to chase their dreams, to never second guess when they're older if I made the right decision, if I really went for it, if I could have given more. Like, I'm never going to have those thoughts because I am going for it. My bank account looks a little sad, but my heart is so full.
Yeah, it's an investment. And what you're doing right now is such an investment in your future. And that's why it's so important when you have those coaches or mentors that they're not just talking about your current dream, they're talking about your future and how it's going to prosper you past pageantry as well. So anyway, that's a whole nother side. Keep on going.
Girl. So after Miss USA, I was in this lull, and I was like, my trainer was like, what's next? And I had really gotten a bond with my trainer. I had a trainer before him that had me on waist trainers and had me eating like 1,000 calories a day, and was just very toxic for my physical health and my mental health. I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I used to love working out, but I hate this now. I hate it. I hate training. I hate looking at my body. And I found this new trainer, and he's like, girl, just come to the gym every day. You don't have to do anything crazy. Just come. My body literally within 4 months looked completely different. I didn't think it was possible. I felt like I was already really fit. I felt like I was already really in shape, but I stuck to the plan. I came every day, and my body just transformed into, honestly, I looked like some Amazonian. I was like, I got the shoulders, I got my back ripped, and it was just from going to the gym and being consistent and not doing a crazy diet. I usually do the 80-20 rule, which is like 80% good and healthy, and then 20%, with where my sweet tooth comes in, a little chocolate, a little mug cake, a little something, you know what I'm saying? And it's all about balance to live a healthy life. And walking on the Miss USA stage, I wanted to represent what every woman can achieve, because it's such a role model position. I never wanted to promote wearing waist trainers to my audience or starving themselves. And so this trainer was just like my light and joy, but that was off track. Sorry, guys, but it is important.
I love that. I don't know if you know, but I'm also a health coach. So that lights me up right there, because in pageantry, people are like, oh, I have to go to the gym twice a day and do 90 minutes of cardio and just like take supplements, eat 1,000 calories a day. And I'm just like, no, like that is not sustainable at all. And so, we'll do another episode just on health. How about that?
Okay. Oh, I love that. Oh, yes. Okay. It's so fun talking with you.
I know, I could talk for an hour. This might be the longest Crownversation to date. So
sorry guys. I hope you enjoy it. But he's like, what's next? And I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't know. He's like, well, figure it out, and we're going to start preparing for it. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, what am I doing? I need to get out of this negative headspace. I need to get over the fact that I'm a loser. I need to get over the fact that, it didn't happen for me, but there's so many other opportunities that can happen. So I started praying a lot. And I started writing this journal. I don't know where it is, but somewhere. And it says, on it, I just grabbed a Sharpie, and it says, what's next, God? Mm. And I opened it up. I wrote a little letter to myself, and it was pretty much like, you lost. Okay. You lost. You're an athlete though. Athletes never dwell on their losses. They look at them and learn how they can be better for the next match or opportunity, but they never dwell on it. They just prepare for what's next even harder, with more ignition in their fire and in their engine. And, what are you going to take away from this? and ignite your fire. And so I was just like fueled up when I was writing this down. I was like, yeah. And I was like, what do I want to do? And it's, talking about, my dreams of what I want to do with my social media career. What do I want to do with my acting, with my modeling? And I was writing down all these goals and figuring out what's next. A few weeks after Miss USA, I went and was a judge at NAMM, which was super cool because it was like I was on the opposite side and I was just learning stuff. And while I was there, I got an email from a manager that's works with a really great group. And they're like, hey, I want to represent you and I want to help you with your acting career. And I'm working with them now. And then I started getting a ton of emails for people that wanted to work with me with social media content creation, because I just started kind of focusing on that, making a lot of reels, making a lot of videos, dressing up as Wonder Woman.
They're hilarious. The tall girl ones, I don't even know, but they're hilarious because I'm 5'10", so I'm not as tall as you, but I'm almost there. And so I could totally relate to those videos and they are freaking hilarious. So
I love them. And I love dressing up as Wonder Woman. And it was funny because at Miss USA, I had all these Wonder Woman ornaments that I gave to people that worked really hard on the production team. I would just give them a little ornament and be like, hey, I love Wonder Woman. I feel like every woman is a Wonder Woman in their own right. And you are working so hard to make everybody else look good. And I want you to know, you are a Wonder Woman during this experience. And I posted a picture going into the finals night and I was like, Miss USA represents exactly what Wonder Woman does, a strong feminine woman who doesn't take crap from people. And she's willing to put herself out there, put herself in danger for the betterment of others. And, I see myself as a Wonder Woman. I'm going and doing what people are afraid to do because I want to be a trailblazer for those people behind me. I want to fight and I want to go through it to make it easier for somebody else. And so I like dressing up as Wonder Woman, but people just see me in this costume. But for me, it means so much more. And I was afraid for a long time to even post stuff with Wonder Woman because I was like, it's not Halloween. This is weird. But now I love posting my Wonder Woman content because it means so much more than just wearing a costume to me. It means I'm representing what every woman can be. And, maybe someone will see me and be like, oh my gosh, she's so comfortable with herself. She's literally dressing up as Wonder Woman. Why can't I wear this makeup that I wanted to wear, but have been scared to wear out in public? Or why can't I, do this and be afraid of being ridiculed? She can do it and be afraid of people making fun of her, but it's working out great for her. She's getting a ton of engagement from being Wonder Woman. What is this?
I love that. I'm over here I don't know if you can see me, but I'm just jotting down notes I'm like, this is great. This is awesome. You said do what others are afraid to do. And I love that. And I'm just going to put this out in the universe and have God hear this a little bit too. But I think you're going to play the role of Wonder Woman someday.
Hey, listen.
I think that's just going to happen. That's in your future, girl.
Yeah. I want to be a superhero. I don't know which one it is, but yes, that would be an ultimate dream. And I was also thinking that I was like, what if someone sees me and they're like, I can see her playing the superhero in this part. The internet's crazy. You never know what can happen. So you might as well put yourself out there.
Yep. It's all about networking too, and that's such a huge thing. And you're not scared to do anything, right? You're putting it out there and you never know who's going to see it. So are you in Indiana still, or did you go off to one of the bigger cities to do acting?
I'm in Indiana right now. I am planning on moving to Florida, actually.
Oh,
yes. And that is for content creation and collaborations and also for modeling. So right now LA is a little bit shut down. Mm-hmm. So all of the auditions are virtual. And so I can do it from anywhere. And plus there's so many people that I already have lined up to work with that are photographers, that are content creators that I can collaborate with. And not that there's not a ton of creative people in Indiana. And I want there to be more, and I want there to be more people willing to put themselves out there like that. But if you're not somewhere where you're getting fed, you need to go somewhere where you're getting fed. Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with leaving a place that you call home and going somewhere else to learn something new and to better yourself and do what's best for your future. I was debating a lot. I'm still Miss Indiana. I was like, should I go to Florida? What will people say of me? What will people think of me? And then I went back to break the mold.
Exactly. Exactly. A lot of people don't know that the whole year before I won Miss Missouri, I was in LA pursuing modeling and sports reporting at the same time before I won Miss Missouri. And I had the same fear. I was like, well, crap, what if somebody figures out that I'm living in LA before I won Miss Missouri, even though my residency is here? I've lived here for 3 years and I'm Airbnb hopping in Los Angeles just so I can come back and compete in Miss Missouri as well. And it was the same thing. And granted, that was before the pageant, so it's a little different, but still, it's like, we're always so concerned what other people are going to think if we do something. But then let's be real. They're looking at your life and they're like, damn, I wish I had the courage to do that. Damn, I wish I would have stepped outside my comfort zone and moved to Florida to pursue this career opportunity instead of staying here because I was Miss Indiana USA. So good for you. Continue to break the mold. Would you just keep doing it because so many people need you?
Yeah. And everything's over Zoom now. So I have not gone to one in-person appearance. I mean, actually, I have gone to one in-person appearance since the lockdown. And then everything else is over Zoom. So I was like, I can still be present. I just don't need to be physically there.
And you have to go where the opportunity's at and something that feeds your energy and feeds your soul. And I'm a huge believer in that. Hence why I'm living in Scottsdale, Arizona right now, because this place feeds my soul, just like Florida is going to feed your soul and your energy and different opportunities. So I could talk to you for like 5 hours, but I know we have to wrap this up. Normally it's 20 minutes. I think we're rolling on like 45 minutes to an hour or whatever, but I absolutely love talking to you, girl, and super, super excited for your future. I'm always in your corner, and if you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It was so fun talking with you too. Your energy, your light, it's radiant.
Thank you, girl. Well, congratulations again on third runner-up at Miss USA. That's pretty amazing, girl. And best of luck to you in Florida, and I'll chat with you soon. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that episode. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Also, please follow me on social media at Miss Tori Cruz. Until next time, be unstoppable.